Mr. Valentine, Part 14, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you have not heard the previous 13 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest parts of all your favorite fanfiction. Marinette couldn't help but focus on the lights above her. While they were quieter than bees, the lights hummed just enough to fill her eardrums. It was a persistent, near comforting sound that echoed how much stress she was under. After all, she was sitting behind Adrien Agreste, Parisian superhero, and they hadn't made eye contact since he discovered she was his partner in spandex at 5 in the morning. Pencils scratched across papers, echoing across desks while the acute tick of the clock marked the seconds as they passed by. Feet tapped on the floor and fingers drummed as lectures dragged on, the soundtrack of another school day. The clock ticked, fingers drummed, pencils scratched, lights hummed. It was just another school day. It was just another school day, and yet it wasn't. Not for Marinette Chang. For her, the minute classroom symphony roared in her ears, deafening her ability to think straight without giving her an instrument to fiddle with. As the final bell rang and the students shuffled to put away their supplies like some kind of ritual, Marinette felt the pit in her stomach rupture. Adrien hadn't so much as turned around all day, and now he was sliding out of his seat saying goodbye to their friends. He must be upset. There wasn't any way around it. Ready to go? Marinette jumped in surprise as she walked out the door to find Adrien waiting for her. She began, realizing it was too late to pull out her phone and try to look busy. Come on, Adrien said. I told you yesterday I wanted a date after school, didn't I? Are you going to stand me up? You seem to be talking a lot about yourself right now, aren't you? He lowered his voice. Bugaboo. She felt her face grow hot as she recognized the look he gave her. Cat Noir eyes. Adrien Agreste was using the same chin-down, upturned-eyed smirk that her partner gave her whenever he had the chance. Only this time it worked. She melted. Marinette stammered, interrupted by a classmate bumping her shoulder as they passed, jolting her forward just enough to give Adrien a chance to catch her. I can tell you're excited, he continued, jumping into my arms like that. You've always been a brave one. She didn't have the time or brain capacity to enjoy the looks she got from her classmates as they stepped outside and into the limo. This was too sudden. She found out he was Cat Noir 26 hours ago, and he found out she was Ladybug 15 hours later. How could he take this in stride? Why was she the only one freaking out? Where are we going? Marinette asked. Nowhere special. She raised an eyebrow in surprise. Avoiding the press? I don't need to take you anywhere fancy. We've already tried that, and I'm tired of the all eyes on me trick. She turned to look at him with a smirk on her face. If there's anything I've learned about you while being Ladybug, it's that you love attention. Only from you. There it was again. Adrien's voice was soft and low, using a tone that she only heard from her partner with a mask. Marinette felt her face flush again as her heart twisted in turmoil and confusion. How did she feel about him now? Was he still her crush? Would she have fallen for Cat if things turned out differently? Was he only taking her out because she's Ladybug? Too many questions. She needed to calm down. She had feelings for Cat before, right? So this didn't matter if... Marinette remembered Adrien looking at her with cat noir eyes not even half an hour before and felt her face flush. She always thought the subject of her schoolgirl crush was handsome, but the cat-like charm made it hot. Her heart was fluttering in a different manner now as he toyed with his words like a game he only played for her. The only advantage she had was that he didn't realize how much it affected her. "Pull over the car," Adrien said. The car pulled up to the curb and Adrien opened the door, extending his hand to help her after he slid out. Marinette squinted at what was in front of her as her eyes adjusted to the sunlight. It was a food cart. Pretzels, to be precise. She began. "Let's just be teenagers, okay?" Teenagers? Buy cheap, crappy street food and hold hands while we talk about our classmates and homework assignments. Come on, princess. We've already saved each other from imminent death on multiple occasions. Let's at least attempt to take a step back and enjoy the little things. Marinette nodded in agreement, blushing a bit as he turned to order for the two of them. It felt strange to feel his hand slip into hers, despite having almost 2 weeks' experience of it already. Surely her fluttering, guiltless heart had something to do with it. They talked for 10 minutes before Pigeon landed on Adrien's shoulder, surprising the two of them before stealing what was left of the soft pretzel in his right hand. The incident left them both a bit flabbergasted and laughing together, a simple moment for the young couple. "So," Marinette began, "let's talk about the elephant in the room." He froze, taking a moment to sigh before gesturing to a sidewalk bench. "If that's what you'd like." "We have to do it sometime." "Do we?" Oh, he was nervous. He was as nervous as she was this time last week, only this charade was falsified for a different reason. "Where do we go from here, Adrien?" "Do you mean as partners, a couple, or as classmates?" "All of the above, I suppose. I mean, I think we'll be okay as partners and classmates, but as a couple?" "Do you not like me now?" She sighed at his reply. "That's not it." "Because it kind of seemed that at least one side of me had a chance with Ladybug." "Adrien..." "I'm right, aren't I? Or were you just putting up with me? Do you only like one part of me? Because Adrien," Marinette said again, cutting him off. "I'm happy that you're Ladybug, Marinette. I'm happy. Ecstatic even. I honestly can't imagine a better person to be you." "Because this makes it less messy?" "No! Because I like you as Marinette, and I like Ladybug as Ladybug. So the fact that you're the same person just makes me... It's almost like my heart can't take it. I'm so... happy. I'm so happy right now, Marinette. Sure, I was surprised at first, but it was the good kind of surprise, you know? It's like... "I can't say the same." She had to say it before it was too late. She watched as his face froze and fell at her words. What?" he whispered. "I'm confused right now. I really liked you, Adrien, and I got my heart broken."
"I didn't mean to."
"Your intentions don't matter. I'm still trying to recover."
"But..."
And then when I started to consider the idea of someone else, I find out he's the same person.
"Yes, and
and he only says, yes, I'll date you without hesitation, when he thinks it's mutual.
No.
She was taken aback by his tone of voice. No?
That's not true, and you know it.
You don't get to speak for me.
You're scared,
Adrien said.
You're scared because you're a ladybug and your instincts are fighting this.
No.
Yes. Marinette, how do you feel about me? Because I can't put how I feel about you into words yet. Yes, this is confusing, but I'm not compromising one person for the other. This isn't I'll date Marinette because she's Ladybug, okay? I want the whole package.
And I want time. Her response caught him off guard, but he didn't let go of her hand. I can see that the two of you are the same person now, Marinette continued. But I need time. I need time, but there's no one else I'd rather be with now. Adrien took a moment before answering.
Do you mean that?
Yes. Don't forget, you were my Valentine 2 times over, even after breaking my heart accidentally.
I'm scared.
His shoulders slumped with his confession, and he turned around, a picture of a boy unlucky in love. So, where do we go from here? Marinette asked, her voice soft.
Can we pretend to be 2 teenagers sitting on a bench together in the middle of Paris?
I'd like that. The breeze caressed her ears as Marinette closed her eyes, acutely aware of every move Adrien made. How had this gotten so messy? Less than a month ago, everything was so straightforward, and now... Adrien, I love you. Marinette's words broke the silence, and she turned to look at him, aware that he'd be in shock. I love you, and I love Cat Noir, but what I felt, for Cat Noir was something more of like a brotherly bond.
Well, that's not what I was hoping for.
She bit back a laugh. So what I'm saying is that I need more time. I don't think the phrase, trust him like a brother, is a bad thing. My feelings will work themselves out.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How?
There was doubt in his eyes. Because, Marinette said, there's no one else I'd rather be next to right now, emotionally constipated and all. She saw his eyes lit up as he fought back a smile, a sigh of relief escaping his body.
Well, that's good.
I'd say.
So, what now?
You squeeze my hand 3 times and buy me ice cream? Her words were met with a soft chuckle before Adrien stretched his legs and stood, taking her up with him.
There's nothing I'd like better, he replied.
3 months later, Marinette was staring at her wardrobe, debating over what to wear. Do I go with the yellow sundress, or... she began, fiddling with the hanging fabric. Hey, remember that time People magazine tried to give me 5,000 euros for an insider interview of you and Adrien? Alia asked, lounging on the chase while tapping her phone. I specifically remember you telling them to double their asking price and you'd say whatever they want. Hey now, I'd have shared the money. Uh-huh. Marinette rolled her eyes. It's not like I told them you were pregnant. Besides, you've got plenty of cushion now that you're dating a multi-millionaire. A multi-millionaire's son, actually.
There's a difference.
Have you seen Adrien's modeling paycheck?
Can we not talk about this?
Marinette said, turning back to her outfit choices. Fine. Blue heels and a light gray dress.
Belt?
We both know waist belts are out of fashion.
Statement necklace or earrings?
Why is that even a question?
Your support has me swooning.
Don't forget about a cardigan to cover the untimely but inescapable armpit sweat. Marinette picked out a cardigan to match her shoes per Alia's recommendation and decided that her miraculous earrings were fine on their own. Her hair was braided into a bun and she went with a spring palette for makeup. Okay, Mom, she said, rolling her eyes. I don't know how you managed to score both your schoolgirl crush and hire the city's superhero as your bodyguard.
What can I say? Adrien's money has its perks.
She was joking, of course, but wasn't about to reveal her boyfriend's alter ego to the owner of the Lady Blog.
Anyway,
Marinette continued,
I'm going down. See you tonight?
Have fun! Don't stay out too late. Her leather-plastered boy was waiting for her downstairs, surrounded by kids looking for an autograph and a photo.
Hey,
Cat Noir said, waving at her from the crowd.
Ready to go?
Aww.
Really?
A chorus of awes rang out, Cat's voice included in the choir.
2 more photos?
He pleaded.
I'm in no rush.
The kids cheered and lined up for a group photo, although some sent her nasty looks. She didn't mind it, as she could just as easily be the same had she not gotten her miraculous over a year ago. They went to their now usual spot on the roof of Notre Dame, happy that the middle of May was friendlier in terms of weather than February was. The city was loud as usual, but Marinette was delighted to see an extra amount of foot traffic through her parents' bakery.
So, when you saw me on this roof, what did you actually think?
She asked, breaking the serene moment they shared. She didn't have to look to know the comment startled him.
I was surprised,
Adrien began, no longer in his catsuit.
And a bit betrayed, but there was so much adrenaline that I wasn't thinking about too much. I failed to realize the answer to my long-standing question was in front of me until I was in a position to let it hurt me.
So I did.
Did what?
Hurt you. He shifted and put his arm around her.
Not quite.
You just said.
No, Mare. I hurt me. I'm happy you didn't say anything. Especially considering you probably needed some time to freak out over your recent discovery.
Adrien paused to chuckle.
I know I would. Besides, I created ideals out of you, of us, without ever talking about it.
I'm not following. He hesitated before continuing.
The headcanon. Nothing went against it, so I had this headcanon. I got hurt because I relied too much on headcanon without referencing canon.
You're such a nerd. Marinette bit back a laugh as she rolled her eyes, feeling a bit better about what happened. I get it. The difference between you and me is that I saw you go from Adrien to Cat Noir. I think it would stab me in the chest if I saw it the other way around the first time.
What kind of stab?
I was so consumed by fear for you the first time that I couldn't think straight. I even let it slip that Ladybug knew Cat Noir's identity when you were talking to Marinette. If I saw it the other way, I would have felt a protective spark light up, and it would be harder to accept.
I know what you mean.
So what now? She felt Adrien turn to look at her and made eye contact just long enough to see the confused look he wore.
We're dating. We've been dating.
Marinette bit her lip as she fought back a smile. He was an easy tease, and even after 3 months, she found it fun to give Wonder Boy Adrien Agreste a hard time. Is that what this is? Dating?
Oh, stop it,
he said, catching on.
Don't be such a tease, my lady.
Well, usually people who are dating kiss each other. His arm tightened around her, a signal that she caught him off guard. Good. Alia told her the moment would come naturally, but Marinette was tired of waiting.
Are you and Nino teaming up against me on this?
He asked, taking his arm away to nestle his hands in his lap. What? Now she was the confused one.
He was nagging me about this yesterday.
That doesn't sound like Nino.
Well, okay. Maybe nagging is too strong of a word. It was as nagging as Nino could be, if you know what I mean.
And?
And what? And am I going to kiss you? Because the answer is yes.
Air caught in her throat as her face flushed. Marinette thought she was ready for this, but the direct answer proved otherwise. No? She asked, her voice softer. She saw him steal a glance before bursting into laughter.
Sorry, Adrien said. I know it's driving you crazy, so I shouldn't tease.
Cat Noir was more than eager to kiss Ladybug. That's all I'm saying.
Don't pout, princess.
She felt his arm slip onto her shoulders again, reassured by a quick squeeze.
All good things to those who wait.
What a tease. She felt him smooch the top of her head and sighed as a rush went through her body to her toes. As much as she wanted to kiss her boyfriend, it was nice to know he was nervous too.
I'll tell you what,
Adrien continued.
I can promise you that we'll have kissed before next Valentine's Day.
He was teasing her, of course, but that was the tipping point of her patience. She sighed, refusing to say anything, and stood up. He took her hand and followed her lead, 2 teenagers standing on the roof of Notre Dame together. Come here, she said, wrapping her arm around his waist. Before he had a moment to respond, she was on the tips of her toes, closing the gap their height difference made as her eyelids shut. This was it. She was kissing Adrien Agreste's stubble. She missed. Marinette missed. She had 1 target, and she missed. Instead of kissing her boyfriend's lips, she planted hers on what felt like his left nostril and upper lip. Embarrassment flooded her to the point that she couldn't move. Marinette didn't open her eyes, nor did she pull away. She stood there, face flushed and wondering if an Akuma attack might be able to turn back time to redo this particular moment. Adrien started to chuckle as he removed himself from her. By the time Marinette opened her eyes, he was doubled over in laughter, gasping for air. It's not that funny, she protested, more than ready to transform and dash away.
Oh, I wouldn't have this any other way.
It doesn't count.
Doesn't it, though?
Marinette couldn't bring herself to look at him, although his joking manner helped her feel better. As embarrassed as she was, she found herself biting back laughter. Okay, fine. It'll happen when it happens.
Oh, it already happened,
Adrien teased. She gave his shoulder a light punch before going back in for a hug, resting her head on his chest as she did so. He was right. This is how first kisses go, don't they? They wanted it to be perfect, but that rarely happens. "Can we go on a date this Friday?" she whispered, taking in the moment.
"Do you want a second chance?"
He started laughing again as she gave him her best side eye. "Keep that up and you won't have a date this time next year." Adrien refused to stop grinning.
"Of course I will. I'm Mr. Valentine."
"Don't get too full of yourself, kitty. I have my plans too."
"Am I included?"
He tugged at her waist, bringing her closer. "Of course," Marinette began, her sentence cut off by his lips. Before she could register what was happening, her model boyfriend and superhero of Paris was kissing her. She was the person every teenage girl in Paris wanted to be. And she loved it. She wouldn't trade it for the world. Adrien didn't say anything as he stepped back, staring intensely at the ground. They didn't need to say anything to the other as their hearts pounded in their chest and echoed in their ears. They'd be all right. It was all right. They didn't know where they'd go after this or the people they'd become, but it didn't matter. There was nowhere else they'd rather be than with the other, and that's all they needed. Somehow, that was everything. Had you told Marinette Dupang Chang at the beginning of February that she'd be dating Adrien Agreste, Wonder Boy model, she would have turned pink and denied the possibility. If you told her she'd be dating Cat Noir, hero of Paris, she'd have rolled her eyes and replied with sarcasm. And yet, what pushed her forward was a day no single lady truly looks forward to, a day where lovers celebrate and crushes die. But Marinette would forever remember Valentine's Day as the mark of first love's blossom. Thank you so much for listening. This was the end of this series. If you've enjoyed this one, please take the opportunity to check out others on this channel. Thank you for your continued support, and I'll see you in another series.